小，新义国小的时候，对，所以就是这样，他一共20，所以刚刚是A组作为50人，他就签了。他的签的意思是这样，没有，因为我们有设定那个官网，我们应该有用官网。 教师，我们还有我们4到6年级的所有的导师会一起来协同。那我们除了这个以外，其实我们有最重要的就是一个课程的转换。那所以我们结合的课程是综合领域的课程，所以也是我们4到6年级老师他非常熟悉的一个课程的内容。好，那么再来就是根据老师今年才刚到我们兴国国小，但是他也非常的厉害，因为他每个月里头其实都跟小朋友规划了不同的课程好。再来就是我们刚刚有说到，我们合作的课程、协同课程是4年级、5年级、6年级的综合课程，所以我们所有的导师都是协同教师，包含我们的外师，外师跟我们的英语老师团队呢，都会共同的去合作去讨论我们综合课程的领达的部分。好，那么在双语的教师的工作支持的部分呢，我们就是还是会定期刚刚做了他的薪水的部分。那再来呢，我们有成立我们的所谓的赖的群组，所以针对这个部分，我们会去跟菲老师去做一个讨论。那今年呢，菲老第一次来参加我们全校的忘年会，也摸到了大奖。好，再来就是学校的环境面的部分。那我们学校除了现在大家看到的这个环境，就是我们的情境教室以外，我们在大家可能也有走过，就是待会可以走走看。从我们校门口进来第一个楼梯呢，我们其实有做了一个英语情境的一个步道。好，从这4楼下去就可以看到。那除了这个以外呢，我们其实还有做一个跨域的英语步道，所以从英语步道一直到社会领域的步道，我们都可以这样往下走看。那再来呢，就是我们所有的学校的办公室，我们都是用双语化的标识。再来就是我们在学校里的行政的一个资料里头，无论是它的行事历、它的课表，还有我们学校的校舍平面图，我们都是双语标示。再来最重要的是，我们学校其实每一间教室都有现在可以看到的，就是我们有做一张英语教室的课室用语。好，再来呢，就是我们这里，刚刚有提到，我们是4到6年级的综合领达，所以我们其实都有做一个讨论。好，在教学设备，大家可以看到这一间教室，就是外师他可以使用的教室，他不用跑任何的一间教室，所有学生都会到这里来上课。所以在这一间的教室纪念页上，全部都是用英语化去做标示。在教学里头，我们来看到，我们全校从低年级到高年级，2年级低年级它就是一定是2节课以上，3年级到6年级它就是3节课的课程编排。那3节课的课程编排一定还有国际文化的部分。那所以呢，我们其实利用了教育局的经费头，我们采购了非常多的绘本，让老师在教学上的时候可以去使用。好，那我们分成低年级、中年级、高年级，我们都有各自不同的一个绘本的内容。好，那再来就是在这里头，我刚刚有提到，我们就是配合的就是我们的综合领域。好，那平常的时候，我们因为领域团队的老师们，他们也其实会常常组成一个社群，然后去做一个研讨、研发。那在这里呢，我们的英语老师他很厉害所以其实他在教学上面会使用非常多的线上的 YouTube 连结啦，或者是一些线上的一个 App 的一个辅助。好，再来呢就是这一次很特别，就是他会主动跟我们一起去规划了圣诞节的课程。那圣诞节课程我们合作的是1到3年级，4到6年级它是不同的课程那我们可以看到，那怎么配合呢？就是因为我们学校有积木课程，所以它是除了绘本融入以外，顺便还带着小朋友去做一个积木的结合，所以让小朋友去手做了一个圣诞树。好，那再来呢，就是我们小朋友呢，其实跟外师的互动非常好，大家可以看到我们邀请的外师参加了我们的招会。好，那学生活动学习的方面里头，其实小朋友都非常喜欢我们的双语课程，其实跟菲菲老师他的互动非常的好。那再来呢，就是我们在这间教室里头呢，是属于小组教学的方式，所以每一组里头其实他都会有多少会有一些比较优秀的孩子，他会带领一些比较需要学习辅助的一个孩子共同成长。那我们学校的英语的活动非常多，比方说说故事也好啦，或者是英语读者训练也好啊。那大家可以看到，这个是我们今年小朋友在兴国 TV 做的一个圣诞节的一个表演。好，那有 通关密语的一个解说。好，那再来呢，就是我们还会定期举办3年级的英文比赛也好啦，5年级跟6年级的一些英语的相关性的活动。这是我们学校的特色。我们的经过24月里头是结合了这种英文去说明，所以大家可以扫描这个 QR code， 小朋友是用英文去介绍的这本书。那再来呢，就是英语情境教室啊、双语步道啊，或者是英语绘本区，或者是我们的多元文化馆，都是跟我们的双语有关。好，今年比较特别，我们申请了50万的经费，所以我们申请了英语点读笔。那除了这个以外呢，我们其实买了非常多套的英语桥梁书跟英语点读笔专用的书，大家可以看到就在这个周遭。好，那这学期的时候就会给小朋友去使用。那最重要的就是我们全校非常支持双语课程，啊，有支持我们的家长会。那我希望我们的用心呢，就是让兴国的孩子可以洋溢着幸福。以上是我们的简短报告，谢谢。再来是由我们的这位老师进行说课。
Thank you. Gives me plenty of time to talk about my class. So, my class is a review class today. The semester is almost over. So, explain the class a little bit about my teaching philosophy here, as many of us have kind of had to figure it out on our own. Is it possible? Well, it's another question that we have to ask when explaining why. Why am I here? What am I doing? If you ask 5 different teachers in the school, you'll get 5 different answers. Why the native teacher is here is not really well explained or is not consistently explained. Most of them believe that I'm here to make them better at English. So, that idea results in a few different concerns from the teachers and behaviors from the teachers. Trying to translate everything I say. Claiming that my stuff is too hard. Suggesting that my classes be more fun. Remember, we're talking about immersion here. If we're talking about immersion, let me address those concerns. If immersion is truly the goal of the class, where I see them for 40 minutes once per week, then nothing should be translated. If immersion is truly the goal, then my content is exactly what you'd expect in a classroom full of native English speakers. And if immersion is truly the goal, then copying the foreign dancing monkey trope of cram schools, you know, where you have to laugh and dance. Ask yourself, in a classroom of 5th graders, if you look at a Taiwanese teacher and what they're doing, do their classes need to be fun, or are they teaching a subject? So, these are my ideas. My conclusion, total immersion, of course, it's not possible. 40 minutes a week, we're kind of doing a hybrid thing, right? ESL and whatever subject it is that we're doing. For it to be an effective class, it kind of has to be that way. So, that was my little philosophy thing. The actual class. This is how my typical class breaks down. Introduce the topic. The subject I teach is integrated studies. Integrated studies is a pretty discussion-based topic. So, introduce the topic usually by a picture or something. Doesn't matter what their English level is, they can see the picture, they can be, oh, we're going to talk about this. Then, vocabulary. It doesn't take a lot of time in my class, but 3 to 4 minutes, 6 words that they kind of need to know in order to have a basic discussion about the topic. So, integrated studies, like I said, it's a lot of how and why questions. If they don't get any vocabulary, there's no discussion. Then we explore the topic. There are lots of open-ended questions. There's not a lot of correct answers. My focus is really trying to get these kids to think critically. Even if the thinking is happening in their first language, the idea is that they are going to be thinking about the questions that I ask. And the essence of integrated studies is really that to me. But then there are English journals. This is a very important part of their class. This is where they take all their notes. You guys can pass these around if you will. They take all their notes in these books, and they're not expected to memorize stuff in this. That's not my goal. They are expected to be able to find the information. That's most important. So you introduce vocabulary, let them know basically what we're talking about, and then I'll say those same vocabulary words 5 or 6 times in every class, and by the end of class, they've looked at it 5 or 6 times, and they're like, oh, I got it, no problem. Then we do a review. We do group reviews. Everybody sits in a group of 4. We use quizzes on the iPad. So we do sort of a review game, review quiz, where they work sort of as a team to show that they understood what we were talking about. The English journals are used as a resource. Not as a study book, really, just something that they can refer to find information. Anybody that does higher education stuff knows that it's more important to be able to find the information and use tools than it is to just remember stuff. So we ask the question again, why are we really here? One thing, obviously, is for kids to experience a different style of teaching. Then, teaching students critical thinking skills that are often overlooked in Taiwanese education. The ability to ask how does that happen, why does that happen, and to make inferences. You have a big wall of text. You do not understand every word. But if you understand 5 out of every 50 words, you can still kind of piece things together. And that's what I try to do, is teach them how to piece those things together. Teaching students that the most interesting questions don't always have correct or incorrect answers. I've asked them a question, we did a class on gender stereotypes. And I asked them, why is this girl wearing pink? Why do girls like pink? They don't know how to answer the question. Maybe if you get into college and have a gender studies class, then you can answer the question. But for them, just let them think about it. They don't need to tell me in English or Chinese. Finally, to get them to rethink their concept of failing. So much of what they do in schools here is pass the test, pass the test, pass the test. I don't have tests. I don't give grades in my class. I don't care about failing. But I want them to be able to find information. And if I can bring up their confidence in finding information in English, I think that's a really useful skill. So that's my big philosophy. Today's class is a review, so you'll get to see everything that they've done throughout the semester. And the format of the class will be pretty much the same as any of my classes. It's just that we're reviewing several different topics. Okay? All right. We have about 10 minutes before the kids come in. They're going to be using those same tables, so you can go ahead, go out, take a little break, and then make your way to those blue chairs. How do you feel about all of these people here? Really? All right. Can you read this? What is a review? Okay. Read means what? Again, view is to look at. Look at again. What are we going to look at again? What do you think? What are we going to look at again? Everything. That's what we're going to look at again. So you will need to use these journals that you have on your desk and this iPad to review. Please do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? Okay, we're ready. Please put the iPads at the front, kind of at the front of the table, please, or the back. And we begin. Review. First topic we talked about. Let's do this. Can we say the words together? Say it. Recycle. Do you remember those words? Okay. Can you find that page in your journal? Reduce, reuse, recycle, also known as the 3 R's. And there will be 3 questions about those 3 R's. Got it? Got it? Got it? Got it? Good. 3 questions. To use less. Boom, how many got it right? Everybody? Guys, they have to be quiet. You guys don't have to be quiet, okay? Reduce. Everybody got it right. You guys were studying, weren't you? I think you guys studied your journals because you know you had this big class, okay? Reduce. Use less. Did we all get this one too? What word is this, everybody?
Recycle.
Okay. Recycle it. I need to ask you some questions that maybe you're not expecting. What's this? Can you recycle this?
No.
I know it's an interesting question in Taiwan, isn't it? Yes, you can, but some places don't. What is this? Can you recycle plastic? Can you? Yes. Question 3. Eh? Uh-oh. Refresh. Oh, there we go. Finally, we got one. Not all correct. Reduce means what? Use less. Non means not. Renewable. Renew. New again. New energy. I'm glad nobody said nani. On. We had a lesson about gender roles, and we talked about what's this? Who can say this? Okay. This big word. Nobody wants to try. Yeah, go ahead. Very good. Stereotype. You remember that lesson? Stereotype. Can you find it? Okay, there we go. I only have one question about stereotypes. Oh, everybody got it right. Girls like pink. Stereotype. Teacher David is from the USA. Not a stereotype. Why? True. Because it's true. And it's about one person. Stereotypes are about groups. I need someone to read this for me. Yes, please. Okay, what's a national park? Find that page, please. Ask you a question you're not expecting. Can you tell me a national park in Taiwan? In Taiwan, national park. I know you know. No, it doesn't matter English. Tell me the Chinese. Okay. Huh? Slower. Slower. Okay. 2 questions about national parks. That's fine. It's in If you're right, you can congratulate yourself. You guys don't need to be quiet. Ah! 5 said desert, 2 said dunes. What's the difference? What? Ah, you already answered one. Dunes are what? Desert is an area, dunes are sand. I'm going to have to throw another question at you that you were not expecting. You saw that one right? Oh, 6 and 1. Canyon, and I'll bet somebody said can you because of how I write my N's. Oh no, somebody said Taoyuan. We had a class about dietary differences, food that you eat. Let's do some simple matching. Can you stand up for me? Can you come here? Can you show me the donut? Okay, then. Can you show me the candy? Where's the candy? Can you show me the soda? Soda. That one's soda. Okay, yeah, that's soda. Donuts, soda, candy, what are they? Who knows? Oh, fine, choose her. Go ahead, you choose. Okay, yes, they are junk food. We learned about another type of food. Now I'm having problems with this thing. Terrible. Huh? Don't worry, it's just the internet. Who can read this for me, please? Okay, you choose somebody to answer. Quickly. Okay. Huh? Okay, yes. This is fast food. Do you like fast food?
Yes.
Do you like junk food?
Yes.
We have a class about outdoor activities, things that you do outside. What is something you can do outside? Okay, now, what is something that you can do outside? Play games, like, sure. Hiking is an outdoor activity. What's another outdoor activity? Camping. Do you like camping? One question about outdoor activities. Something that's popular here, but not popular in my home country. It's in there somewhere. Oh. Hey, is that a why question or a what question? It's a what question. Okay. Only 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, done. What is it? It's a, what is it? Night market. This is popular here, not so popular in the USA. Do you know why? You don't know. I think you do know why. Does the USA have night markets? Are there night markets in the USA? Well, how is something going to be popular if it's not there in the USA? But in 2 words, what activity is popular in Taiwan? Taiwan. How do you Taiwan in Taiwan? Tell me. Huh. What is what is that word? That big word? Chores. We did a lesson about chores. What are chores? Okay, you could probably say that in English. Is it homework? Is homework a chore? No. What chore is this person doing? Okay. Very good. She is doing the laundry somehow. That towel is bigger than she is, but she's doing the laundry. What is a chore that you do at home? What is a chore that you do at home? You don't know? Play video games, that's not it. You already answered one. Yes? Who? Okay. I know, but who? Uh-huh. I do. Huh, formatting. Finally, we have 2 classes about ethnic groups, ethnic minorities. Please find that in your journal. We talked about ethnic groups in the USA. We talked about ethnic groups in Taiwan. Can someone read this sentence for me? Can you read this sentence here?
The final two questions will be from those who didn't answer.
Ready? I thought you said you were ready. You have to find the page before you're ready. Multiracial, or what? Obama had father, mother, multiracial. Multiplication is something different. Let me show you multiplication. That is multiplication. Last question, are you ready? All right. Don't say it too loud. Somebody might follow you. Oh wow, everybody remembered the group. Nice. One. Fine, extra question then. Who are those people where the women have the face tattoo? Who remembers? There's a group of people where the women get the face tattoo. Who remembers? No? Don't know? Huh. Anybody? You think you know, but you're not saying it. Who? Yes? Correct. Now, can you tell me why? With the Atayal people, remember, I told you that the women get the face tattoo because they can do this. You know, make the clothes or make the basket. We went through that pretty quickly. Now it's turn for you to talk if you want to. There are a lot of adults here in the class. Does anybody have anything they want to say to the adults in the class? Huh. Feedback for the adults. No. I want to go home. No feedback for adults? Anybody? Anybody? I'm going to choose 3 people then. You know what feedback is, right? Well, what do you think? In this class, you can tell me. You know, in Chinese, it doesn't matter. You don't know how to read. You don't know what to say. Man, trying to give you the choice to let you talk. Does anybody want to say something? No? No? Fine. Random question then. What is a Native American? What is the Chinese word for Native American? You can find it. Native American. Do you remember? What about African American? Do you remember? What about Latino American? Do you remember? So, as you can see, this looking for information in the journals is something that takes a lot of practice. Native American. What is it? You remember? You do remember this. You will remember this as soon as I walk over here and I say, who are these people? And you will remember when I say, why do we not say Indian? Do you remember? We don't say Indian, we say speeches. Okay. Review class. I wanted to leave you some time to say something, but they were shy, so maybe the teacher. Can you choose somebody to say? If anybody wants to say something. No.
Do you like this class? Just the first question. Do you like this class? Yes? Yes. You like your teacher? Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Class. You can close your journals. Please keep your journals, because we will be using these journals next semester. Let's exit out of this thing so you can see your score. Let's view the report. Who is the winner today? Oh, wow. Wow. Team 1, 89%. Team 6, 89%. 78, 78, 78. Who do I get to embarrass? Anybody? Can I embarrass somebody? But you only have 2 people. Team 1, Team 6. Who answers the question? Team 6. Who answered the questions? I know. Okay, good job, good job, good job. All right. Going to exit this. Can you please close your iPads? Now you have the error. Technical difficulties. One thing before I let you go. I have this thing here. Let me move around. This thing here. I sent it to your email address. Did anybody see this yet? You saw it? Did you respond? Okay. So if you would, later this week, go into your Google Classroom, your email. There is a survey. It is anonymous. I don't know who says what, but I just want your opinion. Since you did not want to give your opinion here in front of all these people, maybe when you go home you can give me your real opinion. This will help me make the class better. Understand? I want to make the class better. You answer the questions. It happens. All right. That's it, class. You may stand up, gather your things, make your way. Oh, right. Okay.
没有，我先上来。然后呢，我们体育有一块课的老师呢，我跟小朋友集合教他。那我们用一下角度当一个那个地方。那后面在那个位置。那后面的老师就看起来就可以了。
各位给他一点 suggestion 好不好？给他一点点小小的建议。那另外在各校建议分享完之后，我再请我们推手老师做分享，然后再来邀请我们的智慧女神校长跟大家讲2句话。然后最后我这边做行政面跟教学院跟大家做一点点分享，最后再请我们的超级教授做总结。好，大家了解到。那我们现在是首先请西龙国小菲米谢谢 ，OK。
Good afternoon, everyone.
Rồi今天太紧张了，我先请任课的老师先做备赛 ，OK， 那边。
Reflection on my own side. Well, I expected that the kids were going to want to share something about the class if they were able to speak in their first language. I should have known that with 20 adults here, they weren't going to say that. So, I should have included a few more review questions, maybe a couple more opportunities for students to stand up and read what was on the slides. I was hoping that they showed that they knew the stuff by using the iPads, but more opportunity for them to stand up and speak individually, maybe.
好，谢谢。那待会我们就是各校分享完之后，再请 David 老师做总结，这样回馈啊。那不好意思，跟你。
Good afternoon, everyone. Based on my observation, I don't have much to say, but I will just comment on the few. Notice that teacher David's classroom management was good in terms of time, giving the students opportunity to respond to the questions, and the questions somehow were so straightforward and clear as it was a review, and then they were able to do their reference in terms of going to they were able to go to get the reference, and they were understanding the device. They understand how to use the device as they answer the questions. Thank you.
好，谢谢 David。那老师请心理多少 ？David。
Yeah, look, I already told Teacher David, and I think I told you that I gave you good marks, and I think it's not a bad lesson. This is your first observation, so you need to get used to how we sometimes work and stuff, so, I don't think you have to spend it too much. You seem to enjoy your kids especially, and they can help you enjoy working with the students. I think that's very important. You don't see that often with other foreign teachers, because we're always tense, right, when you do this, right? So it's kind of unique to see another foreign teacher just having fun and enjoying with his students. So, yeah, I think you did a good job. I've got a lot of suggestions, I think you did a good job. Good work, man.
好，谢谢。那我们是请丰裕国小的老师。
Good afternoon, everybody. Anyway, I really liked the class and how the classes, the environment was set in a way that it makes them want to participate, and it's like a game, it's like the show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, the music was on point, everything was on point. So, my thing that I really want to see more, which is not saying the class was bad, it was an amazing class, was for them to talk more. Yeah, it's so many adults here can stuff, but That's my only suggestion, for them to talk more, but everything, well done, well done.
I'm going to say the opposite and say that it's probably normal to expect them not to talk, right? Because their language level is still pretty low. By the way, do you know what their language level is?
It really depends on the students. Like about 40% of them go to cram school, their language level is higher. I try to put one of those in each group so that they can sort of assist the other students.
Okay, so it's a bimodal, right? So you have, so some are.
I'd say the highest is maybe a B1 for using CFR, lowest is an A1. I mean, there's some that hardly know their ABC.
Okay, okay. All right, so it's, okay, that's harder than I thought. But I think it's correct, you're asking a lot of questions in English, but letting them answer non-verbally and answering in Chinese, right? So that when you're learning a new vocabulary word, there's a lot of cognitive processes that have to go on before you can produce that word as an answer. And in a language class, you go through all those steps to use that word, right? That this, you're teaching a subject class, you just want them to, put the concept in their mind and then do the critical thing. You're going to do that in Chinese. So I think it's correct that they're either responding non-verbally in Chinese or with a very limited English vocabulary. Yes, no, so, like that. Or you can teach them some other stuff, right?
They are a lot more vocal when there's not a lot of adults in the room. Like a lot more talking amongst themselves to try to figure things out.
Yeah.
But of course, they are trying to be polite and scared. So.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's sometimes it's hard to get kids to do right, right? And the other thing you can do is if you're trying to do more open-ended questions, it's going to be very difficult for them to do that in English, but you go to Chinese, so you can ask them an English word, an English question, and have them respond in a paragraph or something like that, or with the help of the co-teacher. Right? So I think it's okay. The way the language is managed. I think one of the ways that you can improve this, you're asking them to communicate non-verbally. You can also practice your non-verbal communication. So, like when a student answers something either correctly or with a mistake, thumbs up, thumbs down, speak like you're talking, and speak with your hands. Sometimes it's difficult for them to process what you're saying verbally because most of their experience with English is written, right? So it takes them a while to understand. But a thumbs up, thumbs down, they process that much more quickly, and so it's a faster reinforcement. Okay. The other thing was the curriculum. So where did you pick what topics to teach?
I don't know where it is here, but that book that we got, it does have the integrated studies in it. It's just that the curriculum is very bare. There's not much to it. There's like, I think, 7 topics that they're supposed to cover in 2 years. So it comes from that.
Yeah, there are a couple words in there like native is B2, ethnic is C1. So there's some pretty advanced vocabulary, and it's very difficult to take concepts like that and express them in very simple words.
Yeah, but the one that was drawn from was express appreciation for cultures around the world.
Okay, yeah. It's challenging. So I think especially, and you can use advanced words like that, as long as it's not always like that. But it's going to be difficult to get them to respond using those words, right? So you can have a question that includes advanced vocabulary, but their response is going to be more limited. Right? And that's an positive. That's okay. Also, you had an injury recently. How do you feel?
Oh, I'm fine now.
Okay.
Mostly okay.
Okay, good here.
Except for I've got a weird rash over this mask. I don't know how that happened.
No. We have no use in that. We were in 3 years.
No.
Okay.
Yes, Professor, I do have a question about the topics, right? Are we supposed to follow the textbooks for our subjects, or are we allowed to come up with our own topics for the EMI lessons and stuff? I just want to know, because sometimes they either want us to follow the textbooks, and sometimes they know you come up with your own topics in your own curriculum.
Okay, I think the guideline we give to you is for the reference.
Yeah.
Yes, so highlight the topic for today, use a variety of topics. But what's more important is about the competency, you know. This is, David just mentioned that he like to students develop a critical thinking. I don't know, that would be good if we can just, you know, change it a little bit, because these are the very specific areas, so we can just, you know, choose certain kind of topics, which you are familiar with, and which will help students to develop some of the competency we have a list in the guideline. So you don't have to cover everything. You don't expect that you cover all the topics, you know, listed in the guidelines. So what you want to know? Competency more important than just.
I understand, yeah, I suspect it is the process that's important
Yeah.
to you. You want to see us how we teach, not really just the outcomes, it's the process.
Yes.
好，非常专业的对话。我们再请，是不是请那个明星国小的外在哪里？
Yeah. Okay. I think it was a great lesson, fantastic, best use of notes I've probably seen any English as a second language class, even though it's not supposed to be really just helping yourself. I just think, age-wise, I think it's very challenging. It seems very challenging to go to younger students. It seems like that would be amazing for like junior high, and even pretty decent for high school. But otherwise, I don't have anything really good to say. Great. Well, get to what you do.
The challenge is that the integrated studies, I don't know, is that one of the topics that you teach?
No, we do reports.
Yeah, the integrated studies is really meant for like discussion, at least the Chinese curriculum is. So trying to talk about those same topics but simplify it is something I'm still trying to figure out.
No, it's difficult. No, you're doing great.
谢谢。
那我们再来，是不是请班国总画一下报？
Good afternoon, everyone. I don't have much to say, but I was hoping personally, I know we've spoken about this before, but I was just hoping to get more of the lesson introduction, the subject content, what you will actually be talking about. Yes, we did mention that you will be doing a review, but we didn't quite get in the beginning what you were reviewing. So we have you out to have heard about that. And just a suggestion that to prepare more materials in case you you have 10 minutes to stay, then you can jump onto the new PowerPoint. But everything was okay. So, job well done.
OK， 谢谢。再来，我们是不是请飞说老师于正宇？对对对。
Hi, it was, I have my notes here, so it was a manual class, and interpretive studies is a difficult lesson for teachers to teach things. It covers deeper thinking and it precise discussion. So, however, in this class, you can see students participate and try to find the answers among their journals. Yes, their notes. So, which is your goal, right? Your teaching goals and also our local teacher goals. We try to get students to solve problems. So I think that was really good. And I would say the choice of using quizzes and notes is what is really amazing. It's brilliant. So with their own notes in their hands, I think it lower students' stress down and then raise their confidence to, they would like to try to answer. So that was amazing. And one other thing I noticed is that I heard teachers say that when you're observed and teachers say, oh, it's so difficult. But actually students perform really well. So from my perspective, it's really good to see students trying to answer, and thanks for bringing it up that we shouldn't underestimate our students. Actually, they can do that. Just one small suggestion. So when you explain the similar words like film and desert, you have blackboard. So you actually can draw. Yes. Or you can ask students to just explain in Chinese one time to make sure everybody knows. Thank you.
好，谢谢我们的林生，再来请我们的智慧女神校长。
教授、李校长、各位老师们，大家好。其实我觉得一开始就蛮惊艳的，整个课堂中很善用到 quiz 的 iPad， 那让每一组小朋友都可以直接的透过老师的提问，然后可以回答。这个部分因为它颜色啊，整个色彩都非常鲜明、生动，我觉得很棒的地方。那我比较想到的是，因为它都是分组的去回答，所以我比较看不到个别学生的评量的结果。那我也发现到某一组，比如说像我们前面那一组，就是都是以小学生在给答案。那我在想说，如果可以在回答这个问题之前，让他们先做一个小组讨论，讨论完毕，我们再决定答案，会不会更能够确定就是个别学生他的答案，然后确认每个孩子的学习成果。当然，我觉得今天是一个很成功教学，因为在一整学期我们可以看到有很多的 topic 啊，都蛮难的。尤其是我看到那个 gender 的那个性别课程面向，但我觉得有一些比较简单，像 national park 这个主题，老师我问孩子，就是可以用传译来回答吗？那其实可以，因为他们手上都有iPad，我觉得老师是不是可以试，然后你用，还是可以用英文就可以吧，因为他们有iPad可以去查，比如说一些比较有名的，大家可以运用啊，玉山国家公园等等。谢谢。
好，谢谢我们智慧校长哦。现在我这边大概分享的回馈是2个部分，第一部分是在行政的部分哦。那我必须要是叶主任嘛，对不对？现在是获用校长，掌声恭喜他一下哦。证明做双核当上校长的几率会比较高一点哦。好，那在这边行政的部分，我们刚才听到我们的主任特别报告，我们在提醒所有的亮点学校，英文是233。英文课是要233，不含这个双语的领域教学，我们要233。然后我们桃园市是希望是全英语授课，在英语课部分这边主任有特别提到的部分哦。然后再来刚才他们也做了很多不一样的，我觉得双语的部分不只是在课程里面，其实在学校很多活动里面都可以适当的把双语的元素加进去。所以我们看他们学校很多的活动，其实都把双语元素考进去，所以沉浸，不管是 EMI 或者沉浸式或其他的各种方式，就是让学生在一个完全沉浸在一个双语的情景里面，然后可以去说，可以去听，可以去用。所以双语教授一直很强调 EMI 的这部分，强调在课程里面是做中学，然后是在用中去说，是要有用途的这样去说。所以这边再请大家多帮忙一下。所以另外我也看到他们做了很多，不管是点读笔啊，或者情境的布置，都做得非常好。那尤其是在阅读的部分，他们各个年级有规划不同的绘本阅读的书籍，我觉得这个很重要。英语很多部分还是要从阅读开始，这跟中文一样哦。这个部分像我们学校这学期开始做一个大的调整跟改变，每学期每个年级有3本的绘本是共读，然后由学校英文老师带着去读，用全英语去读，这个部分我觉得是非常重要的一件事情。然后它的领域是用综合课，所以我们今天看到我们的关师是用综合的课程来去做教授的部分。那刚才我们曾老师也讲，其实综合 看似简单，其实是一件很难的事情。他要把所有学生在这个学期所做不同领域的课程做一个整合结合，然后用主题的方式也可以，其实是一件不容易的事哦。那我看到我们 David 老师哦，我们敬佩他在数位工具的使用上非常的熟练哦，然后也让学生的学习的动机有效的提升。第二，我在看他上课的时候，其实他很重要，他到课堂间去巡视，去看每个学生的学习状况，甚至会坐在学生旁边跟他问一下问题。我觉得这是一个非常棒、非常难得的一个部分哦。那我也问过主任，他这课程的课纲有没有跟协同的中师共同讨论？那我们很希望中师跟外师是共同的协同的备课，然后这个部分的话，我们可以看到它具体的呈现在这边哦。那再来，我也很喜欢那个 journal 的部分，就是他做笔记的部分。可是在这笔记里面，我看到好像比较多是比较单词的部分，好，那可能要让学生理解这个部分哦。我觉得我不晓得，因为我没有看到每一本哦，所以我觉得是不是有很多其他部分是我没看到的。那因为今天是一个 review 的部分，所以我比较看不到一个单元的教学，今天是个回顾的部分，做一个总结。所以刚才诚如我们的智慧上讲的哦，我们可以看到。因为我都传达，你会看到某一组都是一个小朋友去点它，那智慧上也提供一个很好的建议，是不是小朋友可以讨论完再去作答，这样是不是让整个小组之间互动会比较多一点点哦？那今天学生会看到太多的外人哦，有点害羞，哦，这个部分是比较可惜的，不然我看起来整个班的成绩应该是不错的部分。那另外今天协同老师哦，我这边要特别感动，这些导师哦，我这些导师做协同，其实我都很希望。各校的英文老师应该把它完全释放出来去做双语或英语的教学，然后把协同部分都交由导师去做。那今天导师的部分，我看他有到巡街去巡视，但是这部分如果老师之前跟外师有些互动，有些课程可以去做搭配协调，会更棒。哦，那也谢谢今天的导师真的很厉害。那如果可以做更多搭配，会更棒。我在这边特别感谢一下哦。然后再来。就是组间多一些讨论，刚才我们已经讲过了哦，再请大家有没有其他的回馈意见？那边我就请张明老师来。
So I like the philosophy, the first part, the introduction to your course. And ask yourself for answer. I wish that most of the foreign teachers like you did, or just even me, have to ask why am I here? Right? Why am I here? One of the things that the foreign teacher can do, which the local teacher are not able to achieve, right? That's why we hire you here. So I think you give us a very good start to think about our position, our function as a teacher here. Just sometimes myself, why am I here? I'm a professor, I'm not the teacher in the school or junior high school. Why am I here? I'm teaching in college. Maybe the scenario will be a little bit different. And why am I here to advise or be advisor to these kind of programs? So I try to be a little bit detached myself when I observe the classes or previous conclusion. But anyway, I mean, all in all, I like today's class. This is a review class, and you just give us a whole picture of the topics you cover for these lectures. And I like all these kind of topics because you use the topics to develop students of the critical thinking, and some of the topics are very informative, and they can learn some knowledge, even very limited one, but they still know the park and recycling, some of the ideas that they can apply to their daily life. What's the interesting part is that you ask the students, you have to do some kind of housework or chores, and it seems that most of our kids didn't do anything on their own.
When I had that class, I found out that most of them don't.
So not actually the young generation right now in Taiwan. But other than that's a wonderful experience for both of us. And you have good interaction between teachers and students try to interact with your students and use that kind of questions to ask. Even they have very limited, just as Gabriel just mentioned, they have very limited verbal output in English. But they did their best to show what they knew about that topic. Right? Maybe to solve, to get back to you, maybe Debbie, you can give students some kind of sentence starters or some kind of the sentence for students to respond to you in. Not only to use non-verbal to choose have that kind of multiple choices questions and give them some sentence that they can have some kind of output in English instead of using non-verbal Chinese or whatever, right? Because they learn a lot of English in vocabulary, and they're supposed to apply that kind of the vocabulary and those sentences to give you feedback or response to the questions, not just giving yes or no or stability, flexibility. I guess I agree with you because
the thing is, like in our classes, we have a bimodal distribution, and so there will be some fraction of the students that can produce English very well, and so we need to do differential learning. But there's going to be the other group that they're going to be able to produce a very limited way. So you have a
yeah, it depends on the students' learning proficiency, right? So since it seems that the class today seems to have a very high level of proficiency that they are able to do some of these kind of language outputs, not in so it depends on how you so it's just asking you know the students' language ability or not, right? You go there at a high level one.
As an example, in that gender stereotypes class, once
That's
they
a difficult one.
yeah, but they understood the concept by looking at that picture, and at the end of the class, I gave them sentence starters, something that even the lower level ones, most of them can do, like boys can, girls can too.
Yeah.
So most of them can at least fill in the blanks there, like boys can play basketball, girls can play basketball too. Maybe they don't know how to spell basketball, I can help them with that, but most of the students can complete.
I really like to see that kind of theory type class we taught, to see that how we're going to give them this kind of complicated idea by giving them, using simple language or designing some activities for students to understand what stereotype means, right?
Yeah, I think
That's
it's actually very brilliant the way he just described it.
The boys like this one, girl like one.
Because he's not describing what happens, he's showing.
Showing it,
yeah. And sometimes you can show things with much simpler language than you can with describing.
That's part of immersion, right? That now they can pick up that kind of idea and using the language to showing them what stereotype means.
Yeah.
Not just telling them, explaining a lot about stereotype, right? Okay. Yeah. That's a good
It also requires a lot more critical thinking.
Yeah.
Right. You're making inferences by examples. Okay, so there's a lot more going on than just repeating verbatim what the teacher said.
Yeah. By giving them some examples, they pick up that kind of ideas or concepts about stereotyping.
Yeah. So that's I think it's important to point out what you just did because it's a good pattern to use other places. Yeah. So when people are writing textbooks and writing curriculums, keep that in mind. Showing instead of telling. Yeah. It's a pretty key point.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. And another things I like a lot is using the English journals. Using English journal is a good idea because students learn a lot, maybe they forgot to ask them to keep the journals or take some notes. That's what I did in university. I always ask my students to take notes. Every class, they have something to do. They write down what they have learned from me. Maybe they can do more than just vocabulary. This is the principal just mentioned that it's not only the vocabulary you write down. Maybe some concept, or if they cannot write a whole sentence, maybe use the pictures. They can draw the pictures to to write down a voicing that stereotyping class, they can say that, oh, this is the boys do their notes, one and girl can do something like that. They can just take notes, even not just in terms of the language, but also using that kind of pictures or ideas or mind mapping to write down some concepts that they can do. Okay, we didn't see all the journals, but I think that using journals is a very good idea for students to review what they've learned from the whole semesters. Okay, I like this idea. I teach myself in my class too. So, as I said, don't worry, the student like you, even they didn't give you some kind of response there. But my suggestion to that kind of, you just mentioned that kind of spontaneous talk. Maybe students will be quite, freak out when they have to speak English in public, in English, right? So give them some questions in like the class, or give them some options, and maybe one or two will just raise their hand to say something. Instead of just comments and response. I feel like in university, nobody responds to you. In Taiwan, that happens. Not really in school or in college. When in the last week when I said, do you have any comments? Do you want to say something about this class and how do you feel about this class? Nobody said anything. They just want to go home. But anyway, I think that if we give them some kind of the hints, some kind of clues, some kind of the open questions, how do you feel, and do you think that this, if you want to say something more, you want to learn more about what national parks, or you want to learn, so you can ask them to write down 3 things I want to learn more, or 3 things I like most in this class. You can just maybe give them a kind of checklist.
Those are all in that survey.
Okay, and then a survey, they can use that kind of surveys, the answers to talk with, just orally, not just in a written form. We would like to encourage our students to open their mouths to speak English in public. Because that's what the students in Taiwan are not capable of. They are afraid of talking. Okay, they are afraid of expressing their ideas in public. Because in Asian countries, we are not encouraged to have some kind of comments or feedback. People reserved, shy, to say something negative, positive. Right? You are afraid to say something positive, say, I like my teacher. People will, you're afraid to, you need this kind of just you're afraid to the teacher, so don't do that. And you don't say any kind of negative because we are afraid that people will get hurt. Right? So let's do that. I just have 2 questions for you. One is one of the principal just mentioned that as a group, 4 of them, I think it's kind of good work, right? The students can work as a group to answer the questions, and they refer to their own notes to answer the questions. But I also wonder, as a group, how do they work together? The 4 of them, it seems that in a group, most of the time, the strongest student or the fast student will be in control, will manipulate the whole procedures of answering the questions. So how are we going to assign or to allow the 4 students to work together instead of just one person control of everything? My suggestion here is that maybe you can assign, whenever we divide a student to a group, we have to assign different kinds of jobs to different individuals. So for instance, you're responsible, you're in charge of the iPad, and you're in charge of finding the answers. You are in charge of maybe speaking over. After you answer the question, you have to speak it out. Maybe you can ask different kind of task, and then they will work together. But I know how to push the button to find the answers, but the other student have to answer orally later, so he has to practice. And the other person has to find out the answers from his or her own notes. maybe you can do that and then you work together and have some discussions together. That would be my suggestion. Oh,
When I do the presentation for it, a lot of times I do have them work together where one might be the stronger student and they'll be able to write sentences and they'll sort of teach the other students, okay, this is the concept, go ahead and draw a picture so that you understand it. So we use lots of pictures and not just words whenever possible. And I use those stronger students as for my teachers. But yeah, I could try to assign more specific roles to the.
yeah, specific role to each individual student, and they can know, they will know that they are, what kind of the task they are responsible for, and they can do their own job. Instead of just, people just sit together and one person is in control of everything, manipulating the whole.
Yeah, when there's not a bunch of adults here, they often do a lot more back and forth whenever they have the quizzes, where several students will be like, I think it's this answer. They say, no, I think it's this one.
Another question is, when one group or some group give the wrong answers, what would you do? Sometimes it didn't do, sometimes we cannot do anything about that. They just give you the impossible answers and you don't know which one, this group is doing the
well, but that's why I had them named 1 through 7, so that I knew which one was giving the wrong answer.
Yeah. So whenever we use some kind of iPad or like a Quizlet or any kinds of Kahoot to have the student answer the questions. Sometimes if they give the wrong answer, I'm going to make them right. To give the answers or to have this kind of interactions is a process of learning, and how I'm going to apply the kind of the learning skills into this kind of grouping, the group work. That's my question here, or maybe you can think about this one. Whenever they can use the Kahoot, Quizlet, or any kinds of app, you are students to answer the questions or to do the job together, and you may do something wrong. What would you do? It's something impossible to correct them at that one moment. Right, so you have to move it. But if somebody stop, tell them that what would be the right one and what would be not the right one. So think about this one. Whenever we ask the student to do this kind of the app or this kind of quick answers, quick, and what will you do if the student have the wrong answers? Okay, and another question. Yes.
So, regardless of technology, whether you iPad or something like that, when I have a student give me a wrong answer,
yes,
my process is usually praise them. Don't directly say you're wrong, but model the correct. Yeah, model the correct response, then praise them again.
Okay.
So they don't walk away from the experience like without experience. Actually, quite the opposite. They got attention for giving the answer.
Yeah.
So the fact that they produced an answer, is still positive.
Yeah. That's a good suggestion. That's good. Thank you. So we can do that. And another question I just checked with you after class. You say that your assignment say forming lesson plan forming is not applicable to the former teachers. Okay, what I want to suggest is that this lesson plan is just for your reference. Today you have to cover several parts in your presentation, your activities, your checking for understanding, all that on. It can have some kind of variety to change and kind of work. Sometimes we like to give maybe 2 minutes presentation followed by one activities or group discussions or students participate, student tasks, and then you move to the next one. I wish that a presentation should not last for only for 10 minutes or 20 minutes, and then followed by 20 minutes students task. You can just divide it into several parts. I think students have a very short attention span, so it's impossible for us to explain too long or give the presentation too long. So you can do whatever you want. You get a variety of the changes in your format will be okay with your classes. Okay, so that's the schedule. So, yes, that's all I want to say. After that, in terms of the review class, the review lesson, after this is a good experience for us and a wonderful experience for all of us here and for the students. And again, I want to re-emphasize that in EMI and bilingual classes, we wish that most of the foreign teachers please try to encourage your students to open their mouths to respond to you orally, not only in written forms. Because that's one of the reason we have you here, right? Because you are native speakers, you know how to encourage your students to, when they talk to you, they speak English, or they have to, it's okay that they can sometimes talk to you in Chinese, and if that's the ideas are too complicated for them to explain in English. But you can help them to use a simple sentence. That's all you need. So if you can understand Chinese, so you can help them with some simple sentences to express their ideas orally. So to develop student oral skills is one of the very important purpose for this kind of EMI classes. Of course, the competency we require for this kind of class, the subject class, is also it's the focus of the whole curriculum. Besides that, the oral skills is what we want to emphasize. We don't ask the student to memorize all the vocabulary. You don't have to, or they forget. But they dare to, they have the courage to speak in public, speak English in public. That's why even you say that why I'm not here, I feel that kind of oral practice in public will be a very good practice, very good job for all the volunteers here. Okay, you have something to say?
Well, I've noticed in their other classes that the time that they're most willing to speak, even in their, their Chinese language classes, is when the whole class is saying something at the same time. And when I do that in English, yeah, that's much easier for them because they can be a few milliseconds behind somebody that's really strong, and then they can just copy them. So, I mean, it's a whole cultural thing, not just their English skills, but this willingness to do an individual activity.
Yeah, so we can change that. That's I don't like that kind of ancient ideas of the making mistakes. Instead of failing is one of the very good steps to make some kind of improvement. But in Taiwan, and most of Asian, China, Japan, Korea, also Asian countries, especially northeastern countries, we are taught to not to make mistakes, not to embarrass ourselves in front of the whole class. So it's okay, but so students will not say that you answer in class or in a whole group instead of individually. They don't want to, we have two kinds of the mindset here. We say that if you just raise your hand and try to say something in English to your teacher directly, and the other student will say that you are showing off. That is showing off. It's not the virtues here in Asian countries. But daring to speak out is not showing off in the United States or European countries because you encourage to deliver your opinion, to say something you think is right or wrong. There's nothing right or wrong. The second thing that we are afraid of making mistakes. We are afraid of failing, right? Asking or giving stupid questions, or asking stupid questions. So I wish that foreign teachers help our young kids, overcome that kind of mental barriers to say something you wish to say, whether it's mistakes or there's nothing wrong, nothing right. Just say something and dare to speak out how you feel, right? If I say I don't like you, and they dare to say I don't like you. But we don't do that in Asian countries. But in the United States, yeah, in the States, when I was in the States, when I was teaching in American classroom, in college, my students just told me directly that we didn't like what you say just now. or if you like your somebody just help you have some confidence in public language, they say, oh, Professor, your dress is awful today. No, they just give me different kind of comments. But in Taiwan, we don't do that.
Okay, but the context in which they're going to express themselves is important. When I was saying that, when it's okay for kids to express non-verbally, that's specifically if your focus is critical thinking. Because there's so many cognitive processes that have to go on before they're be able to express themselves in a second language with a word they just learned. But if you ask them a declarative question, for example, what's the capital of France, right? You can say Paris. You don't have to do very much critical thinking, so it's much easier for them to answer something like that. So if your focus is not critical thinking, and you just want them to speak, then it's more that you're teaching your minor interests there. Rather than why is there a difficult question?
Yeah. If you just have a low order question, it'll be easier for them to respond immediately, right?
Yeah.
The why and how, or you find some kind of thinking.
But if you just ask what, what is this?
What's this?
Right. That's much lower friction cognitively. But that has to be something which is stored in their third memory. So it's probably not something which they just learned.
But what exactly what's good today is about critical thinking is more about why, how, and what. So maybe it takes too much.
You can combine those things. Like when I was doing the class about energy, renewable, non-renewable energy, they understood the concept of renewable energy, and then I say, okay, why is it important? Well, they can't answer that, but they can draw a picture with what I just got, and they draw a little solar panel, and they draw the sun, and they draw this, and then they say, okay, what is this? And they don't know. That's okay, but they've shown me that they understand it, and like, okay, well, this is solar panel, and I'll write that out there. And then they can add little, arrows to the objects in their picture to sort of complete the picture.
The problem with the students, difficulties or challenging even they know the concept, they don't know how to say that word, lies in the fact that, that's the problem with our English classes, because most of the students are not very good at phonics. They cannot read, look at the word, and pronounce the words. Renewable. If they know how to do the phonics, then you will know how to pronounce that kind of renewable. They know renewable is a correct answer, but they don't know how to say that. So our English teachers, that's why we have to ask the English teachers to teach them how to pronounce the words without looking at the dictionary or listening to. And we get the sound. In Taiwan, we learn English not through our ears, we through our eyes. We just not read with our mouths, listen to the language with our ears, we just use the eyes to learn the language. That's the problem with the whole educational system in English.
Okay, so first of all, phonics was not designed to teach pronunciation, it was designed to teach reading, decoding, right? So it was designed for native speakers to take some written word and use it in some words, decode a written word into a word they already know how to speak. So since English is not a phonetic language, it's especially difficult to go from the way something is written to the way something is
But
pronounced.
you can practice a lot.
Right, but it's different. It's different. So when using phonics to be able to pronounce is not a good way. Historically, yeah, there was the cases that the focus was to try to pronounce. It was replaced with a more modern phonetics, but it's again it was never designed to be able to teach.
Yeah, I don't know.
So a more natural way to learn how to pronounce is speaking and listening, and then you learn how to read it, and then learn how to pronounce the way you just spoke it, right? So yeah, I think a lot of the language teaching in Taiwan is sort of bias in the way that you teach other Chinese dialects. You learn the written first, and then you learn how to pronounce it in the way it's written, and then you output it. That's okay for phonetic language, it really doesn't work for English. So that's why it's having a language class which is teaching pronunciation and speaking is really, really important. And phonics is not the way to do it.
Phonics can help a little bit in terms of the
Yes,
the literacy of reading a lot, right? It can help them to a little bit.
Yes, when you're teaching it, you have to remember that it's not complete. For example, kids will always mispronounce the word pig or pig because the G does not appear as a final in Chinese language. So if you're trying to teach pronunciation, so phonics tends to focus on initials and tends to kind of ignore phonics. But because we know what students do, in our teaching pronunciation, we have to teach phonics, and that's not phonetic phonics will do that.
Okay, thank you for your ideas. Yeah, okay, thank you. We just stop here. Sure.
好，感觉真的意犹未尽哦。今天是一个非常专业的一个教授课程教授跟对话哦。那我们先感谢我们的 Danny 老师给我们一个精彩的课堂，感谢他的邀请。再来，我们掌声谢谢超明老师哦，特地从台北下来，他今天讲的第二场，给我们做专业的指导跟建议，最后给我们新国团队，给我们自己一个掌声哦，辛苦他们了，谢谢大家。那我们今天的公开观众就到这边，谢谢大家，谢谢。